Some practical tips to avoid misunderstandings during job interviews. The first one refers to the fact that in job interviews it's more common than most candidates think that you have problems with audio or problems with your internet connection or problems with the phone line. So the chance that you do not understand the question you're asked is significant. What happens is that most candidates would choose to make an assumption as to what their interviewer was asking them, and this is how misunderstandings occur. So my recommendation to you would be, even if you have the slightest doubt about what your interviewer is asking you, ask them to repeat the question. The second tip I'd like to share with you is with respect to longer questions in job interviews. Some interviewers prefer to ask you longer interview questions, and what happens is that it can be quite challenging to remember the full question. So my recommendation to you in order to avoid misunderstandings would be to write the question in full, because this way you'll be able to not only refer to every part of the question throughout your answers, but also win a little bit more time so you can also come up with the best possible stories. The third scenario of misunderstandings in job interviews stems from the way that interviewers build the questions. For example, how do you handle conflict? It's a rather open-ended and pretty vague interview question to most candidates. So if you have doubts as to what they're actually interested, what types of conflicts are they really interested in, you could also follow up and ask them clarifying questions, such as, okay, I can talk about a conflict I had, but I would like to understand better. What's your preference here? Would you like me to speak about a conflict cross-functionally, or would you prefer a conflict with a colleague? Or would you prefer me talk about a misunderstanding or a time when I had a disagreement with my manager? Asking clarifying questions will be well perceived, even positively perceived in places such as Google, where they appreciate if you ask them these clarifying questions, but it's no problem if you want to get a bit more sense as to what they're actually interested in your answers. The next piece of interviewing advice I have to many candidates is if you want to avoid misunderstandings and focus on your job interview, throw away your cheat sheets. So I've seen many instances where candidates were getting distracted about their cheat sheets. Maybe your cheat sheets are in a narrative format, so they're not very easy to access during your job interview. Maybe you simply don't need those cheat sheets during your job interview, so that could also help you to focus more on your interview as well. Closely linked to this, I would also highly suggest that you try to keep an eye on your interviewer, because sometimes these interviewers will send some signals during these job interviews. If only you would maintain a little bit of eye contact with them. Maybe they're not happy with your answer, in which case you'd want to adjust your performance. Next interviewing tip I'd like to share, if you'd like to avoid misunderstandings in job interviews, would be the old boring STAR method. And the core reason for recommending you this is because this framework was invented by employers especially in order to bring in clarity and avoid misunderstandings during job interviews. This is also extremely relevant nowadays in the age of AI, where even the AI is recommending you that you complexify that STAR answer with some learnings and maybe you dramatize a little bit and whatnot. If you want to avoid misunderstandings in job interviews, you may as well keep it simple. Using the STAR format, it works for most mid-level roles. It won't land you a job as a director, but still you'll avoid misunderstandings. And last but not least, a scenario which I found with some of my clients was that they were unintelligible whenever they delivered their answers. They were speaking too fast. They were not, tailoring the answer to their interviewer's expertise. Me, for instance, a non-technical person, they were providing me with a technical answer and these sort of things. If you would like to eliminate this risk and improve your probability that you score well on clarity, you might as well role play your answers before your interviews, because this might also help you to avoid misunderstandings during your job interviews. I hope you found this useful, and thank you very much for watching.